pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so our city attorney is running a little late tonight, so we'll go ahead and get started. You can join us before we get to. Yeah. So call the meeting to order. Our roll call: Misty Cottle.
Here.
Anita Lowry.
Here.
Jeff Upton.
Here.
Jan Throckmorton.
Here.
John Collins is absent. Kira Hungate.
Here.
Don Rollins.
Here.
Joe Tower.
Here.
City attorney's on his way. Clerk's here. So next, we need to approve our agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made?
Yeah, really property needs to be real property.
Really? Now,
New business, number 2.
okay.
Really?
Really?
Really? All right.
Smart.
We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
With the change.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Next is approval of our meeting minutes from March 13th. Are there any changes that need to be?
Yes, number 5 on the last page, I actually didn't make that motion.
I'm sorry. Does anyone remember who did?
I think that was Jeff Upton, if I remember correctly.
I can go back
do
and
what?
watch the film and see, but
Made the motion on item number 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was we?
You sure you didn't make that one, Misty?
and Kara, did you second it?
Yes.
No.
Yes, we don't want to get into it again.
We had to persuade her.
Real instant.
All right. Are there any other changes we need to make to our meeting minutes? We have a motion to approve them with those changes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. So up next is our public forum. We encourage anyone from the public to come up and address the council. We do limit it to 2 minutes per speaker. And while we may ask questions and have a discussion back and forth, we won't take any action on discussion brought up during the public forum. So would anyone like to address the council? Goggins, you got anything for us?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll close the public forum and move into our business reports. First is Planning Commission. Walter? So Walter, Christie passed out the meeting minutes from the last two.
Okay, good deal. I don't have those in front of me. From our last meeting, really just going over our planning commission books, getting those cleaned up, getting it more coherent. There's a lot of things that some of the books aren't the same as the others, and that's an ongoing. We received a proposal for a new set of paperwork from Jeff Hawkins, the guy from regional planning, and we've been kind of going over that to see what we might want to adopt or see moving forward, and that's also just ongoing. As far as our proposal goes, we had a special meeting on the 8th of last month where it was brought to our attention that the fee structure for our various applications were a bit unreasonable and kind of unclear. And so we had it said, we discussed it amongst ourselves and decided that we would recommend that lot splits for residential are lot splits, conditional use permits, variances, and rezonings would all be $100. And then for commercial, variance, lot split, variance, rezoning would be $250. Then as for subdivision rules, the residential, the preliminary platting application would be $250 for the application, and then $10 per lot that you're wanting to subdivide. And then for the final, just a flat $250 on residential. And then for commercial, $250 for the preliminary plat, and then $250 for the final. We hope that you guys find that agreeable. We think it is. Can't really think of much else. Anybody have any questions?
So a little bit of background on those
Yeah.
fees. Currently, West Fork has the highest commercial subdivision fees in the area. Jeff Hawkins provided us with a list of fees that the other surrounding towns are charging for that type of application, and no one was even close to us. We currently, our commercial subdivision fees
1,500, yeah.
were based on number of acres, and I think it started at 15.
Yeah,
Started at 15.
Preliminary was 1,500, and that was base.
Went up to $10,000 for a commercial subdivision here in West Fork. So what the planning commission has done is put our fees more in line with the surrounding towns.
Surrounding areas.
When were those put in place?
That was a growth promoter.
When were those last?
That I'm not sure of, Misty.
Okay.
I don't know when those were set
Gee,
in
is
place.
that why we don't get anybody down here to do anything?
Well, it's not a real good news to hear. Like, oh, you owe us $1,500. Oh.
So, anyway, the planning commission would like for us to approve that change to their ordinances.
Yes, so we can go and
For one
then fix
thing,
our.
it simplifies the fee schedule. It puts more of those variances and rezonings. It puts them in one bucket. They're $100 to get that taken care of. I think someone at the planning commission meeting made the comment that the city doesn't make money on those fees anyway. We make money on new houses and new businesses. You know, when they come into the town, that's where our money is actually made.
I think it's a good change.
Agreed.
Is it good enough for a motion?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve the fees that they have set before us to be changed.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you much. Thank you, council.
All right, up next, Jennifer Sims with Economic Beautification Committee. Economic and Beautification Committee.
So next Friday on the 20th, we will have our Arbor Day celebration, and the city has chosen a site on the south lawn of the new building off Centennial for a yellow wood tree. And so someone from the Arkansas Forest Commission is going to attend that as well, and there'll be a press release, and it'll be at 3 o'clock. We will have our committee meeting next Tuesday at 6:30, and at 7 o'clock we will switch over to discussion on the memorial. The extra solar light to go for the sign here should be installed in the next week or so. The original lights that we had purchased were not bright enough. It lights it up some, but we need a little bit more light there, and we went with solar because electric wasn't available. I'm happy to report that the Friends of the Library have agreed to co-host and sponsor a candidate forum in October, and we hope to add another component of the city to that, to where perhaps we just have one candidate forum for which West Fork residents have the opportunity to meet with people who are running for office for which they can vote. See. The memorial continues to move forward, and I don't think I have anything else.
She probably may not know this. I got an email from Jennifer Ogle.
Yes.
And I have agreed to plant some just annual flowers up there for some color.
Very good.
So I will take care of that as soon as the weather decides it's going to stay spring, probably within the next couple of weeks. So I'll put some things up there that won't require A lot of watering, because somebody has to help me water. The fire department maybe could blast them from 200 feet away, I don't know. But anyway, I will get some flowers up there to put some colorings for the summer.
Thank you, Vicki.
So be sure and give us that receipt on
Okay.
that. And I think that I said at the last meeting that Isaac Ogle has agreed to maintain that site with the trees and shrubs that were planted there, but we'll still need the city to water and mow, so.
The city attorney just pointed out how amazing that sign looks in the western sun.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have it there. It's a long time coming. I think it'll last a little bit longer than some of the other options that we considered, so.
Any questions for Jennifer? Thank you, ma'am. Up next, John.
We've had a busy month at the library. We've hosted a number of school groups last month. This Monday we had 3 first grade classes. Last Thursday we had at least two kindergarten classes, so we're kind of on a regular every other week schedule with the teachers over there to bring students over. They read to them and then they all take a book back to school with them from the library. And we're really happy that's going great. Glad the students know where the library is, so when summer comes around, they'll know where to go to get books and other things to continue their education during the summer. And it's been a pleasure to meet some of the teachers over there. Their kids are in very good hands at West Fork Schools. From my experience, they had excellent teachers over there, very professional. Enjoyed getting to know them a little bit as well as the kids. Let's see, we've had a couple of work days the friends got together and decided might need some help with the big move coming up, and so it was a great idea, and so we've had a couple of work days where we've been able to box up a lot of books and other things and get them out of the library, things that were sitting there that needed to go somewhere else. So just help us to get a little more lean as we get ready for the construction and our move to the community center. So we've got one more plan for next week, and it's really helping us also to weed the collection, so we don't want to move a bunch of things that are not checking out and need to go somewhere else. So and then let's see, if we've also filed our annual report with the state library. Thank you to Christy for your help with that. Always learn some things when filling that out, like that our website had 1,670 views last year, which was up from the year before. So, they ask a lot of questions about sort of technology and online nowadays. So, unfortunately, have our website person has those stats for us. But anyway, I got that filed just in time, so that we can continue to get funding from the state. So, any questions from anyone?
No? All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, Vicki.
Hi, guys. I guess first and foremost with us, as you all know, you approved for us to hire another employee, which would, it's the process for eventually Pauletta retiring, and whatever employee changes will come with that. So they will start out part-time, and then work into a full-time position upon her retirement. We have interviewed for that. The interviews have been done, and it's pretty much just in the hands of the judge now for his review, his final review, and to get back with us and let us know. Kind of he and Pauletta go to the table and decide for sure what to do. So we're really excited about that because we're overworked. We're behind. So we're always behind. The kindergarten, this is citywide. It's not just the court department. They just always, I think, coordinate with us first. The kindergarten class will tour the city on April 27th at 9 o'clock. They always just touch base with the mayor and the judge to get that date set. They go to the fire department, and then they come down and they tour the police department, which generally is to go outside and listen to the truck make noises and big bright lights, and same thing with the fire department. And hopefully this year, we don't know about his schedule, but we would like to have Officer Chloe there for the kids this year. I think that would be a lot of fun. And then they come into the courtroom, and the judge kind of tells them what happens in there, and they pretty much want to know what the hammer's for. But it's always a lot of fun to see those bright little faces. And then again, they'll go on to the library, and I think they even go to the post office and the Bank of Fayetteville. But anyway, it's always a fun day to see those kids out and about, young, fresh faces. I don't think, if the report-wise, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But basically, the good news is we're pretty much up all the way across the board from February to March, and even from year to date a year ago. You'll notice, like up in the citation entries, some of them are down where others are up. So overall, we're up considerably for March from what we were from February. Part of that is plays into Officer Underwood being back from training and things like that, and just having more activity. And then down in the disbursements, we're up there as well. So we're really happy about that. Hopefully that trend will continue. So
Vicki, on the citation entry, is that March of 17 or is that March of 18?
it's March of 18.
Okay.
No, sir. It is actually over to your left.
The far left is
Yes,
March
the
of
far
18.
left, there's not a date.
Yes, okay.
That's March, and then February, so the month prior, and then the year ago, March.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when you look at that, we're up from, 230 a year ago, March, to 360 this March. So that's good news.
It is.
I guess for us, it's not necessarily good for the citizens of West Fork
Well, that
County,
much
but,
goal was to go the other way,
I'm sorry?
to curb it.
Yeah.
I think it is important though, because that's West Fork PD, right, the second?
Yes,
one?
sir.
And so, everyone knows our chief is in a training program, and he's working overtime just to complete his coursework. But it's a testament to Officer Goggins and our other police officers, the amount of work they're putting in while the boss is away.
Yeah, so for instance, if you look at line 4, that is strictly West Fork PD.
Yes.
So that's considerable, almost double from February. So that's good stuff.
It speaks highly of your officers, chief. It sure does.
And she's not here, and that's okay. I want to commend Alina. It's been great to get that department back and get it meshed, and it's in great working order between the two departments. It's really made a huge difference
Good.
in us getting things cleaned up and getting things in order like they should be. I don't think there was anything else, Paula, I did want to mention, 2 weeks ago, this Friday, the architect came, and the judge came, and we went over the preliminary plans that he had drawn up, and then Paulette and I brought our own to the table with just ideas of what we think we need and how it's going to work in our environment. And it was a great meeting, very informative, and so he took all of that back to the table to come back to us again and tell us, okay, you might want this, but structurally it's not going to work, or this is a great idea that I hadn't thought of. And a lot of detail went into, this affects you all as well, a lot of detail went into how we're going to design the courtroom to be a council room. And the judge had a lot of great input because he's been in so many various courtrooms. And I don't know that this is going to happen, but I think Christy and I would agree that he had an idea of the bench being permanent, and then we would have these wings that would be witness areas during court day, so they'd be straight, but they're rollable. They would roll and lock, And so then you would have council and kind of give you all a visual of one another. And so, that's just something that's on the table to figure out how it will work. But ultimately, if you can visualize it, when you push those wings around, they would be all the same facade on the front. And so they would just butt up like one big long thing for court and then come back around and meet up for you all to make it a very usable space for both things and public forums and whatever we might have. So I think that's all I've got.
Any questions for Vicki?
Thank you.
Chief Nelson?
We like to keep the court busy. They earn their money, I guess. Our service calls this month, we were at 375, so we're up a little bit. We had 25 reports taken, 160 citations issued, and 54 warrant arrests. Our on-view arrests, which I want to point something out, they were at 12, but 10 of those arrests were drug-related. Officer Chloe was involved in 2 of those. So we got some meth for the DTF and also some marijuana. It's our National Child Abuse Awareness Month, for those who've seen that over there. We didn't get in on that last year, so I want to make sure we did this year. We pushed pretty hard for it. We're glad that Chris is back. He got the flu and got a secondary infection with that and ended up 3 weeks in the hospital, so we're glad to have him back working. I'm very, very, very satisfied with my guys right now. They are working hard. They're doing their job. So, any questions for me?
Isaac is not here tonight. You guys have all had a chance to review his minutes. Are there any questions about water and sewer? Construction, I believe, has started on the Dye Creek Bridge.
Yes.
It was supposed to start Monday.
I'm on it.
Jeff can go home.
Yes. Or leave home, whichever.
Yeah.
Not yet, but we're closer. That's a step. A big one.
Isaac did send me a text today that the bids for our city paving are going out April 14th or 15th. So we budgeted within his budget to pave city streets. They set criteria for choosing those streets, and the streets that they chose, that bid will go out in the next couple days. So should be moving forward with that.
Do we know when, like, the library and this is all gonna start, the construction of it? Community center.
Community center is, of course, the last on the list.
Because I'm constantly getting asked.
Yeah, and I wish we had updates. They met with the judge and the architect
About a week and a half.
about a week and a half ago, so probably one more meeting there. The library is pretty well settled. Right, Paula? Yeah. So I think once we get this building a little bit more settled, then we'll start getting schedules.
And he indicated that once that took place, that ours would jump right in. It wasn't gonna be a this one, this one, this one. That once they got, I assume, because it's ahead of us, the library over to Baldwin and Shell and ready to go, this one would be right behind it, and Baldwin and Shell would be working on both at the same time. So,
All 3 of them at the same time.
that's right, that's what I understood.
But it's not a quick process. It still has to go to all the mechanical engineers and all that for the architect stuff. So it's gonna be a lot.
And getting into this one's gonna be a lot of fun, because when they get in these walls, we all know that it's not gonna be, they're not gonna know what to expect. And we all know that. So, that's gonna make this one interesting.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question. Are there any finished architectural plans that show the bridge, the Dye Creek Bridge reconstruction?
No,
No?
not that we have. So West Fork's portion of that is one bridge, the easternmost bridge. Okay, so it's that small one. And we have engineers drawing up plans for that, but the county has actually, they provided all the design work.
Is it available to see for the public?
I'm sure that, yes, at the county, at Washington County, I'm sure you can get that, but we don't have it. All right, anything else concerning Public Works, streets?
Did Isaac give you any kind of a report on water loss this month?
Yes, it is actually in the packet.
Look for it.
28. That's 28.
28.
Or a little over 28 and change. So was it another explicable, we didn't have a
You know-
meeting this month yet?
That I don't know. I don't remember him talking about water loss.
Each of the times we've bounced between 17 and upper 20s. And it's, there are some issues, I think, over on campus and several other places in town, and it's all explicable. It's a rat kill.
Sure.
For want of a better word.
You came for just that one question? You could have asked that when you first came in. Yeah, so I'm sure that there was a couple of leaks somewhere, but
Well, the one thing that I will note, we have talked about in the last couple of water committee meetings, is maybe getting some metering the zones in the city to try to, because right now we've got a real rudimentary way of detecting a leak. And in some places, it's a matter of looking for the J-clamp at bubble up.
The wet spot.
Yeah, the wet spot. But we're talking about maybe zoning, putting meters in and try to zone out so it's a little more fast to understand it and help us define where the weak spots are at.
anything else? All right, Chet?
Well, we've had a lot going on, so, but I'm going to point out the highlights. First, we've got several projects that's been in the works done at Carter Park to help with some of the functioning down there as well as aesthetics. It looks a lot better. We were finally able to get our asphalting around the concession stand to take care of some trouble areas, some mud holes, some rough places, and it looks so much better. We didn't have enough money in our budget to encompass the whole concession stand area, but we got 3 sides of it. We're in a budget next year to hopefully be able to finish that out and then add some in our driveway as well. We also had the parking lot resurfaced and sealed and restriped. It looks really good. We got our privacy wood fences as well as 2 rail fences and some other wood work down there stained. It was looking really old and weathered, and it really made that pop. We got our flagpole installed, so there was just a lot of projects like that to the facilities down there that are finally complete just in time for our season. We weren't able to quite get them in for the high school season. They've been playing down there for a while now, but our season kicks off next week. We've been practicing down there for several weeks now, but we'll start games down there next week. And that's all going pretty well so far. So far that most of the teams were organized without too many problems, and they got practices in. The rains are always an issue, but that's just the way it is. Some of them, unfortunately, it seems like it rains on one team's practice every week, and so they don't get as many as someone else. But so that's where we're at on that. As far as the ball season in the Carter Park facility, the 4th of July event, we've made some more decisions there. We've also got all of our events and activities booked, as well as our musicians. taken care of. We did, on our food, we have decided we are going to increase that amount, and we've already secured a donation for the extra hamburgers and hot dogs. And we're actually increasing that from 2,000 to 3,000, because last year we did run out, and we ran out of water. So we're looking at increasing our water. We will increase our water whether we have to purchase it or get it donated, one or the other. We're looking at more efficient ways to possibly serve our food and things like that also. And we haven't made any decisions on that yet. As far as the council goes, anyone that wants to volunteer for the event itself, concession stand, food prep areas, where, as always, is probably where I'll need the most help. So just get with me, let me know if you're willing to work a little while on the concession stand. Also, if anyone, we're still out looking for donations for items as well as money. So any local businesses or anyone that y'all reach out to, and you can send them to me if they're willing to help or would like to help. That's where I could use y'all's help with that event, is trying to get more sponsors as well as helping the concession stand for the event, handing out the food.
What's the amount for a sponsorship?
They can give any amount they want. I have a letter, a form letter at my office, and I can email that to y'all as well, if that would be helpful. If they give at least $100, they'll be added to our sponsorship banner. But we'll take anything, we won't turn anything down. And that's whether it, of money or value. Tyson's gives us 3,000 hamburgers and hot dogs. We'll make sure to put them on there. So if you need, well, right now water is one item that we've had to purchase. One of our bigger items that so we're looking for different. Lewis Ford did donate some water last year, but we've purchased most of the water. Water and probably buns is the two biggest things we have to spend money on for food. Now we collect donations, so really all the food and water costs is covered through either product or money. So fireworks are scheduled. We've talked to volunteers, reached out to Boy Scouts, churches, and those that have helped us in the past, and we should have the same volunteers in those areas. So I know it seems like it's a ways off, but it'll be here before you know it. So, and then 4th of July, and that's pretty much it. So
We had a good Easter egg hunt.
we did. The Assembly of God Church. I think it turned out really well. There was a good turnout down there. They put a lot of work into it. The weather didn't look like it was going to cooperate, but it wound up being decent. There was some more water down there from the flooding we got a few days earlier, but they found dry enough spots to hide the eggs and put up their inflatables. Great turnout, lots of people down there. So everyone seemed to have a good time. So, yes.
Any questions for Chad?
All right. Thank y'all.
Sure. Chief Myers?
Sorry, I'm kind of in disguise today. So, according to our reports, one of them says 66 calls, the other one says 73. I have no idea why that is the case. It actually was 73 calls for the month. Very busy month. We've had a lot of fire calls, a lot of grass fire calls. Had a lot of calls last month. We had probably 3 calls going on at the same time. So, definitely commend my guys for getting that taken care of. It's hard to do. Hard enough to get people to show up for one call, much less 3 at the same time. So, did a good job. Kind of on the water, we had our annual pump test last month. We didn't go but a few thousand gallons of water. Did have a structure fire last month. It may have gone through some water, but I try to keep Isaac informed. If we go through major amounts, we try to let him know. So, I'm thinking 4,000 or 5,000. I don't know if that would, you might know better than I would, whether that would even offset much, but,
Not the percentage really.
Okay, so, just an idea. But business as usual. We got a couple new guys that are putting on a new intro class. They've done 3 nights so far. They have 2 more to go. Other than that, just everything rocking and rolling. That's all I've got. Unless you have any questions for me.
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Christie?
And I don't know if you noticed or not, but our bank balances are down quite a bit this month, down about 68,000. The majority, if not all of that, is the payouts for the building, the new building. So they were expected. It's not concerning. It just looks bad. On your financial sheets, there were a lot of things underlined. The majority of those are items that we either pay out once a year or they're seasonal, or they're large purchases like vehicles and that type of thing. There's a few lines that are probably 10% to 20% more than they should be this time of year, but that's just something. Those are the ones that the department heads can watch throughout the rest of the year to make sure that they don't continue to go over. But the majority of the ones that are underlined are ones that they're just one time a year payout or large purchases that are just done once a year also. So, any specific questions?
No? Thanks, Christie. All right, so we'll move into new business. Up first, Jeff Upton, discussing the salary of the...
Possibly paying the city council?
Yes.
Starting in 2019. And I know it's been a subject, been brought up, so it's time to discuss it and figure out to do it or don't do it, or what everybody thinks.
How much was you thinking?
$100 a meeting, you have to be at the meeting.
I'm for it.
Most everybody around us is paying that.
Our area homes a meeting.
Show up, you get paid, you don't. What about, special meetings?
$100 a
Workshops.
meeting, so.
So we're looking at $800 a month?
Yeah, unless there's workshops or special meetings.
But, so my point is, and I'm not getting in this one way or the other here, I'm just simply pointing out, this is why Jeff's bringing it up now, is it needs to be discussed now so that during budget talks, we know what we're looking for.
So there's no changing budgets this year, or adjusting this or that, to try and squeeze it in, it's planned.
I would definitely be for it.
Any other discussion?
Are you looking for movement on this?
I'm not. I think at this time, if everyone's in agreement on this, I think that we table this and bring it back up in like June, July, and get a motion passed in that time frame, and then be ready to discuss it in our budget plan.
I will say, I think we're sailing in some pretty stiff winds next year. And we talked about this, with what's happening with the sewer connection. Be good if it works. Just concerned.
And I think that's a valid point. If we raise our sewer rates $30 per citizens in the same year that we vote a $100 per meeting salary to the city council, people they're gonna have a feel.
Well, that was the optics I had in mind.
But at what point do you decide it's time to start paying
Exactly.
salary to something? I mean, you could put it off saying we're gonna pay this, or have to pay that, or do this, or do that
Right.
forever.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, are we not probably gonna give employee salary raises and things like that, so,
Absolutely.
I mean,
$100 is more of a token payment than anything, because this does take time, gas, effort. I mean, it's not,
I don't feel the same way.
spare time.
I feel like this is a privilege, and I wouldn't want the money I would give it back. But
We ain't about
somebody who,
money.
I'm not gonna be here after this term. So I understand where you're coming from, but, you know, I could see where this could be, you know, become a problem. And I agree, I think until we see what sewer, because it could be more than $30 a month for sewer. So I'm like, you know, I think this should be proceeded with caution.
Well, we're talking about, let's see where we're at, your timetable seems that.
Does everyone agree with that timetable, that we readdress it? It looks like there's plenty of movement to move forward with this, or agreement, so I think we table it and.
And we've all been called names before.
Yeah.
Jeff frequently, recently.
Not lately,
Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's table that until our, we'll start talking about budgets September, August, September. We'll do July, get it month by August. Let's table that to our July meeting. We'll move forward from there.
Because like, for instance, some people that are having to work, you know, whether it's right now or whatever, they could be here at this meeting if they were getting paid versus, you know, trying to be at another job, making money. You know, and then, you know, we've always said like the burden if someone had to have a babysitter or, you know, I don't know, I just, you know, I just have always been for it.
I think most people do it because they are servants. They have servants' hearts, and I hate to think about, you know, those that start doing it just for money. That might want to do it because of the money.
If I am not mistaken, y'all are the only council that is not paid
Yes.
in this surrounding area.
Yes.
Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. At one time, we checked on that, and it's been a long time, but at that time, like, you're the only ones that don't get some sort. Now, some of them were at 100, and some were like 50. And you do have to attend the meetings. I mean, in every case that I checked on, you know, it's not just something you get. You have to put your time in, but y'all do. And I understand it's in the heart. That's very admirable.
And like what Jan said, that's always been my biggest fear too, that you can't stop people if they're here for the wrong reasons. And if that's why they're here, then it's for the wrong reason. So we just have to hope that that doesn't change it.
Do you have any input on this?
We are the only city I've ever represented who worked in do that, so I would just echo that. It isn't as common to pay only for attendance. That's actually more uncommon. A lot of them just, the check is there no matter
Yeah,
what.
it's just a
And so I
monthly thing.
prefer it that way.
I do too.
I see that works
Because,
better.
I mean, you could just get elected and not show up. It's like, what? I mean, what a sweet deal.
Special meetings a lot of times are, workshops usually are not. So you're gonna have sometimes 4 or 5 budget workshops, even in a month or something like that, but that's just, cities that do a lot of budget workshops, they don't do that, because you come in, you sort of plan for that, and you know every year in October, you're gonna be in a budget workshop or 2 or 3. But it is very common. Oh, I should mention this.
Just lower, you know, make it.
Well, I mean, we're looking at a lot of money that our city's going to pay out, and, you know, there's a whole lot going on in the city of Westbrook right now for the next year, 2, whatever. Start it low, and then later on, maybe if we get through everything else, then maybe we can look at raising that, if you do it.
I think, I'm sorry, go ahead.
State law is that an elected official's salary can be raised at any time, but cannot be lowered until the next election cycle, unless the city official agrees to the lowering. So it's a quirk in the law, you know.
Which is going to come up in an
Yes, sir.
ordinance later.
Well, and one of the things I noticed reading through the packet earlier, on the upside, there's some more development coming to town that will maybe, you know, situationally change the tax picture.
Absolutely.
And revenue. So it's not all a one-way trend.
And so I would say this, with regards to this, if you're gonna be the only council in the area that's not paid, we should, put it on Facebook, Channel 5 News. We should rally around it, right?
Yeah, volunteers. I
That's
mean,
right, so.
There's not a lot of that going on anymore.
I think one way or the other, we should move on it, whether you guys vote a raise. If you don't, then I do think we go shout it to everyone that'll listen, that West Fork doesn't have it.
Maybe something wrong with that, please.
All right, so table till the July meeting, correct?
Yes.
Any other discussion on that? I don't want to cut anybody off. So next, ordinance 470, which is amending ordinance 400, the maintenance of real property.
Really, property.
Really?
So I'll let the city attorney kind of give us the rundown on this.
Get you some adjustments that police, I think,
Yes.
wanted to. And so we made the adjustments to make it more sensible, more efficient for them to be able to enforce it. And you all know this is the time where this really steps up when grass gets grown.
Yeah.
John, did you have anything to add on this?
No, if anybody has any questions. It just allows us to do our job a little bit more efficiently, I think. The way some things were stated in the old one, I just think it improves what we can take action on.
And so I think one of the major changes, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the major changes is section 1, where it defines an owner. I think in the past, Chief's been kind of handicapped on.
Well, in the past, it's been hard because if they say owner, and we have somebody we've ran into it, they're not renting, they're just living there. The owner can't be found. We search everywhere. They have trashed the residence. Kind of how it read, we can't go cite them because they're not renters, they're just there. So they continue to destroy the property and we have no action we can take. So this way, it just opens up the door to, now we can.
Yeah.
We'll need a motion on this, but I also want to point out that we need to be serious and diligent in finding someone to enforce these besides the police department. Or I shouldn't say enforce them, but rather cite these. We need code enforcement. We don't need 40 hours a week code enforcement. But West Fork is to a point where we need some part-time code enforcement. I've been looking to try to share that with other cities. So far, I haven't made a lot of headway with it. I would appreciate you guys putting some thought into that.
So code enforcement would blend in with, say, like building inspections.
Could, absolutely.
Because we talked in the past about part-time kind of situation.
Right, and that's the thing, in a city our size, with the building that we currently have on, there's no way we can justify full-time code enforcement or building inspector. Most of the cities around us can't, and so they're doing what we're doing. A half-hearted job of it at best, through the police department, which creates other issues. So it's something we need to look at, something we need to get serious about. City attorney's done a great job of working this up, trying to identify, I think, John, everything that could be a possibility. It looks like you've caught in here.
Now we'll change it.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
It seems pretty comprehensive. I mean, I don't know that you've missed much in reading through it.
And as a council, this is a tough.
Feral animals, maybe.
But this is tough
Well,
work.
we have another ordinance for feral animals, we should have.
Because someone gets upset when we start sticking our nose into what goes on their property. However, there's another side to that. They're degrading the property value of every neighbor around them and of the city as a whole. They're bringing down property values for a school. So it's a subject that needs to be taken seriously. It needs to be enforced. We can do better than what we've done in the past in this area. Would anyone agree enough to make a
to suggest this. We have 3 ordinances tonight. We don't really have, somebody might make a motion, Mayor, that we consider all 3 under suspending the rules, reading by title only. That would apply to all 3 of them. We can just do that one.
All right, so let's talk about the other 2 before you make that motion. Carry through that? Okay. So the other one is ordinance 471, which amends ordinance 305, our membership to the library board. And the basis to this, John, correct me if I get off track here, but currently we have 5 members on our library board. We're not looking to change that. However, our library does serve a large group outside of the city limits. And so what the recommendation is here is to amend the ordinance. It'll allow 2 members to serve who live within a 5-mile radius of city limits. Is that correct? So
That's
outside
all.
the city limits, but within a 5-mile radius.
We need that, yeah. Good job.
We're serving those people. We should give them some input on this. Yeah, okay. And the last amendment is ordinance 472, amending ordinance 384, the salaries and benefits of elected officials. And what we have here is we have an ordinance that sets my salary and the clerk's salary. That is currently, I think the last time it was codified was in 2006. And so we're several years out of date there. And so the amendment here would be to bring the salary that's paid to the mayor and the clerk up to what its current level is. We're not adjusting salaries one way or the other. We're simply bringing the ordinance up to date so that it reads the current salary that the mayor and the clerk are paid. Any questions on any of those 3? Jan?
I made that motion.
I think Jan's motion.
To suspend the rules on all 3.
All 3.
And I'll second.
Yes.
All right, Joe?
And then after that roll call, we'll take a second roll of each ordinance.
Yes,
We have a motion and a second. You got that motion?
I've got it.
Okay.
You need to do your roll call on that, and then you can move on.
Okay. Misty Cottle?
Yes.
Anita Lowry?
Yes.
Jeff Upton?
Yes.
Jan Throckmorton?
Yes.
Kira Hungate?
Yes.
Don Rollins?
Yes.
And Joe Tover.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, Mayor, your first ordinance going back to is the cleanup ordinance. I call it cleanup ordinance. And if they like that ordinance, Mayor, they may make a motion to pass.
Do you need to read the title?
Oh, sure. An ordinance amending ordinance number 400 concerning tall grass, unsightly conditions, and stagnant water, among other sanitary and environmental health situations. Declaring emergency and for other purposes.
Do we need a motion or just go ahead and vote?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we pass ordinance number 470.
I'll second.
Motion and second.
Jeff, you seconded that?
Yes.
All right.
Misty Cottle?
Yes.
Anita Lowry?
Yes.
Jeff Upton?
Yes.
Jan Throckmorton?
Yep.
Kira Hungate?
Yes.
Don Rollins?
Yes.
And Joe Tover.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next is ordinance 471.
This is an ordinance amending section A of ordinance number 305, creating and establishing a board of trustees in the city of Westport Municipal Public Library, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Lisa, what was asked, do we need an emergency? We haven't.
We did not.
Okay. Well, then, if they want to, they can pass that. If not, we'll take a separate vote.
Pass it as is with the emergency clause.
What the heck?
That would be 2 votes then.
I second.
Okay, wait.
So this is the
You're
motion
doing
to
what?
pass the ordinance.
Okay, Jan and Joe. Thank you.
Misty Cottle?
Yes.
Anita Lowry?
Yes.
Jeff Upton?
Yes.
Jan Throckmorton?
Yes.
Kira Hungate?
Yes.
Don Rollins?
Yes.
And Joe Tover.
Yes.
And so if y'all do want the emergency clause, it would mean the ordinance would go into effect immediately, and we could get that, if that person would show up in the next couple of days, we could get that appointed. And that would require a separate motion.
We have a motion to add emergency clause to that.
I will make that motion.
Motion and second.
Who did the second? Thank you, Jan.
Misty Cottle?
I think that they're trying to get away from emergency clauses.
We are, I agree with that 100% until the city attorney put that in a better perspective for me. And also on this one, I don't think that we're going to have any, so we're putting this into effect immediately. He's down a member so that we can fill that member with someone outside of the city.
It's not really an emergency now.
Do what?
I said it's not really an emergency, but.
That's a yes?
Yes.
We have our full 5 right now.
Oh, you are, okay.
Yeah. Now, we do have one person,
What we have right now is we have 5. We've got 2 outside the city and 3 in. So we're illegal to start out with. So what we're trying to do is get ourselves legal.
Yeah, we better
That sounds like an emergency.
So it's an emergency.
We didn't know all that info there.
We are now in emergency.
Running illegal.
Well, she
I don't want
has
the
a
library
good
police
point.
to come out first.
In that we were trying to get away from this, I think the metrics on this are a little bit different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Than some other situations we had.
Thanks for saying that out loud.
Now that we've had confession, we're in emergency mode. Okay.
All right, so we have a yes with Misty Cottle, Anita Lowry,
Yes.
Jeff Upton.
Yes.
Jan Throgmorton.
Yes.
Kira Hungate.
Yes.
Don Rollins.
Yes.
And Joe Tover.
Yes.
All right, next.
And the next ordinance is an ordinance amending ordinance number 384, setting salaries and benefits of the elected officials and city of Westport, Arkansas, declaring an emergency and for the purposes of deferred Christie on that. Yes. So is there a motion? Maybe a motion to pass the ordinance.
I'll make that motion. I second.
Okay. Before they vote, for what it's worth, you guys must be two of the lowest paid elected officials as well. Just so you know.
And I would just point out that Marcia's doing a fantastic job.
Oh,
And
thanks,
Marcia-
stay healthy, but thank you very
Hey,
much.
Marcia, give it back.
And what a mayor we have. Oh, Lord.
All right.
That's-
So we have a motion, second. Misty Cottle,
Yes.
Anita Lowry,
Yes.
Jeff Upton,
Yes.
Jan Throgmorton.
Yes.
Kira Hungate.
Yes.
Don Rollins.
Yes.
And Joe Tover.
Yes.
Okay. So that one passes.
And I would like to say that I don't think that the mayor's position is paid enough.
I don't either.
That's for
It's a lot
another.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
That is a lot of time.
It really is.
I know just from what little bit I did, that, you have to spend more time in here than people realize.
Realize,
You
yeah.
guys-
I didn't spend a lot, but I promise you, Pete's in here way more than.
They take the
I think I
800
realize it,
down
but I
and
don't
pay
think I
every
really
month for the
know
council,
how much time.
When y'all take up the council ordinance again, council pay, what I've made a note to myself is we'll re-amend this to add council if you do. So that'll be the opportunity to reconsider the mayor's compensation as well. Because it'll be that same ordinance if that's what we do. That's what I was gonna talk to Christie about, if we just keep the same one, amend it again. So if you wanna consider raising the other elected official salaries, it'll be a reminder in July to do that.
And it would definitely be 3 different things, wouldn't be all bunched together.
Wait, what?
We're not gonna bunch those all in as one vote. It'd be 3 different things, right?
If you wanted to, we could do different ordinances. Would you like to do another ordinance?
I don't think she's talking about different ordinances. She wants to have a council vote separate from a mayor and clerk.
Then that would put them in different ordinances. We'll just remember that. Okay.
All right, so let's finish up. Oh.
I don't feel like the mayor's position in Westport is gonna slow down
No.
for the next several years.
Oh, no.
We've got too many projects and, so it's not just a part-time job sometimes. It is, but you see what I'm saying, there's
I've
more
only been here a short
responsibility year
time.
by year, yeah.
But you make it look so effortless.
I do what I can.
You set up so much better
All
than me.
right, so let's finish up our new business.
That was wonderful, Joe.
Christie has put on here, and this is strictly a convenience item, but she would like approval to add Isaac as a signatory to the city and water bank accounts.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion on that?
Jan, you seconded that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, so item D, mayor's comments. I don't have a lot this month. Things are going very well in Westport. I've been a very absent mayor in the month of April. I will be every month of April for as long as I serve. However, we do have confirmation. Last month I told you that the medical center's going in Harts. This month I can tell you that the Farmers Co-op is moving, or they're building a Farmers Co-op in Westport.
The medical.
I do not remember, I've been asked that.
Oh, you told us last time.
Yes, I don't.
Is it like a manna?
It's like a manna, but it's not manna.
No, Manna.
Forgot.
So the co-op will be going in beside the Arvest Bank. There are 3 partners who are in the co-op. They are coming up on the 18th. I'll get you times. They would especially like the 2 ward members in that ward to come out, meet them. I've been speaking mostly with their real estate broker. But they would like at least those 2 council members, if they can make it, that are in that ward, to come out and talk along with some other city officials and stuff. But at that time, they'll be getting their documents. So on the radar is going to be a rezoning of that piece of property. Part of that is currently residential, and part of it is commercial. So that'll be something that comes before the planning commission. It's next to Arvest, yeah.
Are they looking for incentives?
No,
Okay.
no, they are not.
They are looking for the zone, whatever they want.
So the current design, I have seen the current design, it's likely to change, but what they're looking at now is a driveway that sits immediately across from Dollar General's driveway. It will come in, the driveway will run all the way to the back side of Arvest. So the whole front section will just be their driveway in, and then they'll have, it's going to be 9,600 square feet of retail space and 9,600 square feet of warehouse space. They'll have the hay barn around back, some of those items. But
Where and what time?
it is April 18th, and I will get you the time. I believe it's 3 o'clock.
Everything happens at 3.
Yeah, well, it's kind of an odd situation. Their broker is flying up out of Memphis, Tennessee, meeting them, and they're coming up from Van Buren, so.
If you'll let me know, I can do that.
Okay.
I
I
can't
will.
do that. Get it ahead of time. I'm driving for sure.
Other news, the developer who is building the houses behind Harps has purchased some additional property in that area and looking to build at least two more houses. This will be actually accessed from, Smith Street? Is that right? So it'll be coming in from the opposite side, like you were going to the Bilbrey House. So they're remodeling the Bilbrey House and adding 2 more homes.
That is good news, but I think at the next water utility meeting, we need to talk about infrastructure and how it's gonna feed. And I'm sure it's all been thought out, but I'm kind of curious. Since he's going with small localized pumps, get the water pressure up and the houses are up there now. Depending on where they sit.
So that's,
Y'all don't forget our new businesses in town too. Patronize them, go by and check on them or whatever. Nana's Niche is down here. And Treasure Trove, I believe, is the name of the other one at the Superfoods building. I think there's some more things gonna go in there. But that's in there. She's open right now, part-time, but you guys go by.
we have the Tiger Nutrition.
That's right, Tiger Nutrition it's up next to Beef Pepper Salon. We're getting a few in.
A few.
About 4-legged
All right.
That literal.
That's all I have. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh my
Before we adjourn, Mr. Carnes, did you have anything you wanted to address us?
No.
Not putting you on the spot?
No, no.
Okay. Give me an
I am
opportunity.
curious about that entire piece of land behind our list, do they buy all that? I always envisioned a bunch of houses there with young kids in it.
I
Are they gonna
hear
take
you.
the whole thing? I mean, it will take all that, they won't use all that.
They will not. They're leaving a buffer around that, since they are kind of in a residential, it's residential commercial right there. They're trying to create a buffer between them and the houses.
Don't get me wrong, I love increased property assessments and taxes.
Yeah.
The kids
Oh, I know,
too.
I know. We're getting there. I'll try to have that at the next meeting. All right, so we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Those opposed say no. Meeting adjourned.